Hi everybody, Andre here. If you were expecting the new video on the wah pedal, I'm sorry to disappoint you. It will come, maybe next week actually. But yesterday I had a conversation with a friend in Italy, and he asked, if I could explain to him pitch axis. And pitch axis is a very simple subject, and it's quite a very simple concept. But I think there's a bit of a myth around it that it's very complicated. As a matter of fact, to understand pitch axis, all you need to know is the modes, and maybe not even all of them, just a few scales. You could actually do this with major and minor, although today we'll go into a bit more detail. So, it's quite simple, and then you might know a few chords. You probably need to know your basic triad chords, so major, minor, diminished, and at least your seventh chords. Today I will use a little tiny, just a little bit more complex chords for the more advanced students, but you can also translate these chords into very simple basic families like minor seventh or seventh, etc. The idea behind pitch axis is this: you have a center or an axis around which your pitches rotate and evolve. So, for example, if we have, I play it in E, alright, because it's the easiest way to do it for the guitar, so I can keep this low E down on the sixth string and then play on top. Let me raise the volume a bit. Yeah, there's a bit of an echo because I was recording a song, so don't worry about that. Just so if you play like this, you see the sound is different whether I play a scale like this, which is the Lydian mode, or something like this. Which is the Phrygian dominant. It's just two scales. The basic idea though is that as long as you have only one note, you have at least, if you just stick to the regular modes of the major scale, you have at least 7 modes that you can play on it. You could play E major, you could play E Dorian, E Phrygian, E Lydian, E Mixolydian, E Aeolian, which is E minor, and then E Locrian, and then you start again. So you have at least 7 scales, which they will all sound like this. I think there's an old video about the modes, but let me do it again for you. So if we have E at the bottom, we might have E major on top, okay, we could have E Dorian, we could have E Phrygian, we could have E Lydian, and then we could have E Mixolydian, E minor or Aeolian, alright, and we can have E Locrian, which is the last one. Right, so as I see, I only played 1 octave at a time, so it is what it is, but at least you can compare the modes to the same octave and the same range. So they're all very different. Now, if I only have, as I said, 1 note at the bottom, which is E, then it's kind of free for all. I can do anything I want. I could actually play a lot of other scales that are not the 7 diatonic mode. I could play, the modes of the harmonic minor. I could play the modes of the natural, of the melodic minor. I could play the modes of the pentatonic scales. I could do anything. If this is complex to you, then don't worry about it. Just worry about major and minor. If you know a bit more about the 7 modes, and then if you know more about what I just said about the rest of all the scales. The idea though is that you probably don't want to end up just playing 1 note. So pitch axis also refers to chords. In this case, the chords would be chords that have E at the bottom, E in the root. So there will all be variations of the E chord. And usually what you want to do is make these chords suggest a mode. So for each mode of the 7 that we saw, there's a few chords that really kind of have that sound ingrained in them. So for example, for the first mode which I'll play, let's play E major, the simple one, And I could play, of course, just E major, and on top of this play the major scale. But we're not going to do that, that's a bit too easy. So if you know your 7th chords, you can play E major 7th. For those of you who know a bit more, we're going to play E major 9th. Let's play E major 9th, which in this position will be like this, and it sounds like this. Okay, so this mode suggests that we are in E major, because it has a major 3rd, and it has a major 7th. Okay, so next from this chord, we go to a chord that, let's say, moves from major to Lydian, and if we go to the Lydian scale, what we'll do then will be to play a chord that has a raised 4th or raised 11th. That's the same note that is raised in the Lydian mode. And if you don't know what you're doing with chords yet, just play major 7th. If you know a bit more, you can play a major 7th, for example, sharp 11, which is the one I play for you now, which we play in this position. Now this chord suggests this scale, alright, which is the Lydian scale. And then we move maybe to Dorian, and we'll play a minor 6th chord, which is a minor chord plus a major 6th. In the case of E, it would be an E minor chord, plus this note, this C sharp, which is the 6th. If you don't know your chords, play E minor 7th, that will work too. Okay? And this mode suggests, this chord suggests this mode. Okay? And let's finish with a strange one, the Locrian. The Locrian mode is a diminished mode and it's quite weird. And so we'll keep it simple for now, and we'll just play a minor 7 flat 5 chord, which is your diatonic 7th chord for a major scale. And in this case we'll have this chord. Okay? So as you can see, I mean, all these chords have functions within their own tonalities. For example, if I play this chord, which is the E minor 7 flat 5, your ear expects to end up in F, but you're not in F, you still stay in E, and you just keep evolving and revolving the modes and evolving the chords from one chord in E to another chord in E, but it would not be the same E. We start from E major. So actually let's do this. Let's do E major, E Lydian, E Dorian, and E Locrian. And what I'll do now is improvise a little bit on top of all these chords, and it would be like four bars of each chord. Okay, so we'll take it easy and we'll go pretty slow and have a few seconds on this chord, which is E major 9th. A few seconds on this other chord, which is, we said, major 7 11 sharp 11 from the Lydian mode. Then we'll go to the Dorian mode with minor 6 chord, and then we'll go to Locrian with the minor 7 flat 5. Alright, so let me show you how it sounds. So you see how all these chords do suggest a tonality, and you can take advantage of it. Now, would you do a whole composition on pitch axis? Maybe not. Would you use it for maybe creating interest in a solo or in a melody, or switching a song from a section that is E major, then move it down to minor? You can do all kinds of stuff. And it's a very useful resource, and it's really quite simpler than you might think. If this sounds complex to you, this video is probably because you don't know your scales and your chords yet, and so that's the first step. And there's a bunch of videos on my channel for it, or you can look anywhere you want. There's a lot of chords and a lot of scale resources out there. Once you have that, the step to pitch axis is really simple. And I hope you found this useful. If there's any question, because this is kind of very personal thing how people understand this concept, please, you know, send me an email or a message on YouTube. That's actually better. And if I need to do it, I'll make another video. All right, I'll see you next week. I hope I can make a video on the wah pedal. And also thank you for your contributions to the Knowledge for Charity. We had a spike last month, and then it kind of died down a bit. So, you know, please keep checking out those ads. And as soon as we get to 70 euros, which is the minimum for Google to send the money to us, we'll post a video with you know, wherever we donate the money, and we'll show it to you on YouTube. All right, see you next week. Bye bye.